folks, it is a new era on Impact Wrestling. Slammiversary was a blast. Hope you got to watch our review. Tons of good comments, feedback, and love poured on that. They did the damn thing. And as you can see by today's episode, they have absolutely transitioned into a new era. And it feels like it. Mm-hmm. It looks like it all over, from the logo. I mean, not the logo, because logo is the same, but from the intro, some of the lower thirds that they've been using for people's names and stuff like that. Like, everything's different. It's moving forward, and everything that was just I'll just say the early part of the COVID pandemic era and all that they had to go through with that. They seem to kind of threw all that out, and they're looking to move forward. So I'm very excited to talk about tonight's episode. And as always, it's not Jared with Miranda. How you going?
Hello. Yeah, great. Yeah, it absolutely is a new era in Impact Wrestling. Right from the get-go, you could tell that they're turning a new leaf. It's a new chapter.
Yeah, and this episode started off with one of Impact Wrestlers' biggest stars of all of Impact Wrestling, one of their biggest stars of all time, in EC3, with the statement of controlling your narrative. And so, like I said, then moving forward to the new Impact intro. So, there's a lot of different things happening. We're here to talk about it and break everything down. I think the first thing I kind of got to say about it is, like, I feel like I was going to say it as a pun, but I'm just going to just say it now. But I really do feel like Impact is like ready for war, because I was watching the episode, right? I just noticed something. War Machine Rhino, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, Motor City Machine Gun. Like,
so many machines.
Something you trying to tell us?
Many. They're gearing up. This is this the Transformers of pro wrestling, with so many machines ready to go? But they used a lot of footage from Slammiversary. They really touted on the how well it was received and how well it did. So I mean, I think too, it's very smart to use a lot of that footage that was that fans really enjoyed watching during Slammiversary in that promo package. Why not live it up while you are on top?
Yeah, I'm just, a lot of people are very vocal about the fact that people need to stop sleeping on Impact Wrestling. And I mean, I think there's no excuse at this point now. But yeah, Slammiversary 2020 broke all types of social media records. So, they really did it on all avenues. They delivered a good show. They got people, they got a lot of people being interactive with it, buzzing about it. And just a lot of people are, really invested now. But yeah, from what I was reading earlier, said, like, along with the big free agency reveals, record-setting engagement on all digital platforms, like they really have turned the page here. And when you kind of think about everything they've been through the beginning of this year with Tessa Blanchard and with the cancel culture canceling itself out, good for them. And I've said it so many different times now, but I mean, it just truly feels good that at this point now they made a statement to saying we're moving forward, and here's why. And it looks and feels like it, and I'm just very excited about that. So first thing to kind of go about is that, hey, if you've never watched our reviews before, we don't break down the entire card. We just talk about the things that really stood out to us. Either the things you must go check out yourself, or just really left, I hate to say it, but really left an impact on us from watching the episode. But I think the first thing I want to...
I enjoy a good pun.
So. Okay. I know sometimes it can be a little bit cheesy, but But okay, so yeah, so where do I go? I mean, I think the easy thing to kind of go into is the first match of the night, and that was Willie Mack and Chris Bey for the rematch for the X Division Championship. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think there's a lot of emphasis on Chris Bey being the staple of the X Division, of the X Division, and I think that's right. But the question, as I've been saying in our last review, is like what to do with Willie Mack, and I think this was a clear, decisive, the definitive answer that Willie Mack is moving forward now. It was a clean finish. This match was like 9 minutes long, and obviously they had to hold this match probably because of rematch clauses, but this was a clear, definitive answer that Chris Bey is the future of the X division and Willie Mack is going to be moving forward with something else. What something else is, we don't know, but I am glad that this is not going to be a prolonged story between the two of them. And I would like to see, you know, both of them flourish in their career. And I think Willie Mack is a megastar, and I think right now it's going to get very interesting to see where his trajectory go from here.
They did a really good job for the build-up to this match at Slammiversary, with even from, you know, the game, Chris Bey winning the one contendership and having a good run between him and Willie Mack. I thought the match at Slammiversary was great, and even this rematch was really solid. I was surprised that Chris Bey won clean. I was expecting maybe some shenanigans from Johnny Swinger or something else, but it was a clean win, so it does signify that this chapter is closing and something new is on the horizon for both of them. And I think, again, I mean, I mentioned this during our review of Slammiversary, that's important for an X Division champion. When you have your reign as X Division champion, you are defined by your competitors. And to have a really great start meeting Willie, and the same goes for Willie Mack. It's a new chapter for him as well. And I think they wrapped this up fairly nicely.
Yeah, indeed. Moving forward, the Good Brothers, finally. Now, we did get to see them at the end of Slammiversary, which is cool. But anytime you give those guys a microphone, it always gets interesting. And I love their little dialogue pieces between the two of them that, you know, it feels really natural and organic because obviously they're friends. They hang out. They're brothers for real. Like they are with each other all the time. So kind of seeing how the little bit of sarcasm between them, but they're still having fun, but still ultimately cutting an excellent promo. I'm happy for them. I got to be honest too. I really like the segment that they did on Being the Elite this week. So, you know, they're ready to have some fun. Talking Shopomania is happening, so now they get ready to be creative on their own as they've always been. It's going to be a good time for the Good Brothers at Impact, and they again are solidifying the tag team division. Ace Austin versus Madman versus them. That's going to be interesting. Madman and Doc. I was going to say Carl. Doc Gallows. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Doc.
Yeah, so I'm excited here with that. That was a really good segment, and the future is bright with them being in Impact Wrestling.
I can absolutely see why they picked Impact. I think a lot of fans were surprised that out of all the promotions, especially AEW, that May had, you know, done some overtures to them, why they picked Impact. But the fact that we can actually hear them talk for the first time in I don't know how long, and it was just so natural and easygoing and fun and entertaining. I mean, it's very obvious why they picked Impact, and the fact that they can continue other ventures. I mean, they promoted Shopomania during the middle of Impact, and it sounds like the company supports those other endeavors. So the fact that they not only get to be part of a main event feud, they get time on the mic, and they get to, you know, continue other projects. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everyone, but especially the Good Brothers now that they're at Impact.
Yeah, pass me a brewski right now. So a Wild Heath
I don't have the ring crew here either. Yeah.
A Wild Heath appeared without a last name. He did have one, but he's not allowed to use it no more.
Contractual.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how long this is gonna go. It's fun right now. They said he was gonna show up Tuesday. He did show up. He never got to. There's nothing with him and Rhino, as they said, you know. So, we're just gonna have to see how long this Heath thing just becomes just the same Heath Slater from WWE Impact. When does it manifest into something? or why did the signing make sense for Impact? Is what I'm looking at it here, and why should we invest as fans? So we'll give it time, but it gave me a laugh. But then nothing to really make of here. I was going to talk about the Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan versus Nevaeh and Havoc match. But the only thing I really have to say about that is I can never hear Havoc music the same without thinking about Katie Ford's twerking to it. And now Katie Ford.
God bless Katie Ford.
Yep. And now Katie Ford and RVD are back, and RVD definitely with a jab at things being canceled around there, which fittingly so moving forward. But Katie Ford said we're going to get more of her. I didn't know she had on too much clothes, so now we're saying we're going to get more of her. The fans want to see her body.
It's a pendulum swing. One extreme to another. So I can appreciate that she's consistent.
Yeah, I don't know what to look forward to with that, but I guess more Katie Fords, but less clothes. Oh boy. Eddie Edwards with the flashback moment of the week, the Impact flashback moment of the week. These flashback moments of the week have been really significant in the book in the Slammiversary. So now you kind of wonder, well, where was this one going to go? Well, this was just a little bit of going down memory lane. And a little bit of nostalgia of when Eddie Edwards won his first TNA Heavyweight Championship against Bobby Lashley. So, considering he's a champion now, it's just one of those type of things. Like, here's where he came from. Here he is. So I respect that, and that was cool. But I gotta say, Eddie Edwards in the ring, cutting his promo about being a fighting champion and moving forward from everything that the title had went through over the last few months. And not holding it hostage like, somebody else did. And if you've been reading the news, is doing, I think. It just felt organic because he really means a lot to the company. And I'm just happy to know that, again, and this is why it had to be Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards at the end. And it makes more sense that it was Eddie Edwards because you do need a babyface to really bring back some integrity to the brand with that championship that lost all momentum after all the momentum it picked up. So, and Eddie Edwards being a beacon of hope, like you said before, the continuous underdog story in Impact. I'm really feeling that, and I have to say that him and Eric Young, sign me up for that one. All the way. Sign me, stretch that out as long as you can. I'm for that. So.
Yes. Well, I like what they're doing with this open challenge. It serves several different purposes. It helps reestablish the championship on weekly television. It allows Eddie Edwards to showcase the belt and by competing against various other Impact talents. Many, like he says, are well deserving. We saw not shortly after that promo, Trey Miguel coming up to him and asking for a shot. And I feel like those are the kind of weekly matchups that are going to help carry us to Bound to Glory, because ultimately that is the matchup I would really love to see at Bound for Glory, Eddie Edwards and Eric Young. And they have some time to do that. So use this open challenge on a weekly basis to, have the belt on television to help build up your roster, but also, use it as a way to carry you to October, because I don't want to see them in the ring. I want to see the tension build up for the next few months. And ultimately it ends up at Bound for Glory.
Yep, absolutely. Moving forward to the other championship, other championship in Impact, and that's the TNA Heavyweight Championship, held by its champion, the wrestling legend or god, Moose. Now,
wrestling god, yes.
Yeah. Now I have to say, I love me some Moose, right? But when they asked Moose, was he going to follow suit and be a fighting champion? And he said that was a stupid question. And the answer is no. One don't just ask for it. He invites them. and he diverted from Eric Young, Chris Sabin, and EC3 and selected Fall Ball. I was dead to the world. I was like, really?
Trolling at its finest.
Oh my goodness. But I have nothing to say about that match, but I will talk about what happened afterwards, obviously. And that's EC3 making his appearance in the ring, targeting Moose. And there's a lot to talk about here. Now, the first thing is obviously what I said earlier, and that's about EC3 control your narrative type of narrative, shall I say. And, you know, they're making it very clear that he doesn't work there. No matter what, I mean, Josh Matthews is saying that, but EC3 is definitely in the opening promo. So he definitely works there. But I'm just very curious here. Now, number one, I think it makes sense that he goes after Moose with the little bit of hinting that we had before. Maybe this was going to be the plan. Maybe some things at Slammiversary got mixed up. Maybe whatever it may have been. You know, maybe the contract didn't run out to after Slammiversary, so he couldn't actually, you know, perform, whatever it may have been. But I think it makes sense that they go this way. But the question is, how much do we buy into this control your narrative, he doesn't work here thing? Is EC3 truly going to have creative freedom to work other promotions? Is he? What's going to happen here? Because he's lobbied at all three major promotions outside of WWE, so ROH, AW, and Impact. Impact is using them in their opening promo video. But like, is this going to be the most talked about character in all of wrestling if he's able to do something like that? Like, I'm trying to gauge how much should I buy into this. He doesn't work here. He controls his own narrative thing. Or is this just a straight Impact angle here? So what is your thoughts?
Oh, that's a really good question because it's so layered. You're right about what we thought going into Slammiversary when we had that sneak peek several weeks ago with EC3's music playing after Moose's match. We all thought that because of the plans that changed, that that wasn't supposed to, or that was the original plan, but things changed because, of the five-way for the World Championship. But now it absolutely leads us to believe that was the plan all along. EC3 was never going to be in the world title picture, at least the Impact World title picture, just yet. It was something that as fans, we just led ourselves to believe. So the fact that this has been long-term possibly planning, I believe, though, it means that he's probably just doing this more as a Impact angle, to be honest. I think that it's just creating a lot more mystery around him, but I don't foresee him jumping to another company. I don't really see him on AEW television. I just don't think. Maybe, you mentioned being the Elite. Maybe we'll get snippets of something like that. But on AEW television, I think it's going to be, it's a little bit of a reach for me personally. It's also very hard to see what his impact is going to be in the independent scene because there's not much of one right now. Ring of Honor is not active. Other big promotions aren't active right now, and who knows when they will be again. So, maybe it could, but I don't know. I'm not buying the big picture like that. I really do believe that they are creating enough of a mystery to keep fans guessing, and that's good booking. It's good entertainment when you leave fans guessing. But I believe he's really building a narrative, a new narrative at Impact.
Yeah, and I have to say too, I don't think he would have put ink on paper unless it made sense. So I would definitely imagine that he has a unique contract that truly fits him. It didn't work out in the last promotion, so I would think that this time he would do something that truly works to him becoming the big star that he ultimately can, because he lost a little bit of momentum by WWE in all standards and counts and forms. But now he got people talking again. Impact got people talking, so this seems like a good fit. We'll see what happens with him. It's definitely going to be worth watching for sure. Now, the Wrestle House segment that happened was absolutely fun, and all I know is if we're going to get some improv to Johnny Swinger shenanigans, I don't care what channel it comes on, I'm watching that. So as silly as it was, but yeah, that I'm wondering how much of that we're going to get weekly. It was enjoyable.
It was. It definitely seems like a true cast of characters, and this is a perfect scenario for Johnny Swinger, even Crazy Steve. We're gonna get Rosemary and Johnny Bravo and Taya, maybe some Kylie Ray. It looks like. I mean, maybe some Triple XL. Like, it's a cool way to utilize your talent in a controlled environment as well. I think it's one thing when it involves storylines, but if you're just going to, put together something random like Wrestle House, it seems like it's going to be the comedy bit every week. And, if there's Johnny Swinger involved, it will be the comedy highlight of the week.
Indeed, brother. I forgot what he said. He said something funny on it too. He said, Susie said, I am Susie. And he said, I'm somebody else. Who did he say? Dang, I can't remember. Anyway.
It was like a mark. I know he used the word mark in it. I just don't remember.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, the main event now. Now, I've been overly critical about this, and I can honestly say, thank God I can watch tag team wrestling on Impact.
Yes.
Finally. Because the main event was a 20-minute banger between the Motor City Machine Guns and the North. And I have to say that this run by the North should go down as one of the best tag team reigns in professional wrestling. And considering this last leg of it during the pandemic and them still being able to stay relevant, good for them, and they've been cutting fire promos. They had a cinematic match. They truly ran through the division. It sucked that it didn't have anybody else to kind of co-anchor that with. But now, it's the top picture is interesting now because seeing them chase is also interesting to me. So I am. This match was a classic for sure. The tag team division is back, and kudos to both teams to just a really, really tremendous job. And again, 20-minute banger for the end of this show, and it was legit. But I do like the booking here, in crowning new, and that instantly puts people back invested into the tag team division because I know I'm not the only one that was like, oh yeah, tag team bathroom break, but now. Looking across the board, it's definitely worth watching. So, and I do like a new era of it. So we'll definitely be tuned in for more tag team good action and Impact. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I have to admit, I was surprised that they pulled the trigger this quickly on the return of the Motor City Machine Guns, but it's also, you're capitalizing on the momentum that they built from Slammiversary. They were one of the highlights of the entire event, and it probably has brought back some fans that haven't watched the product in a few years. And that match itself was proof that they not only could hang with the North, but that they could beat them. And there was no ring rust. The chemistry was still there, the athleticism. It was a fantastic match. And I foresee them continuing this back and forth for months. I imagine we're going to see probably an iteration of this match at Bound for Glory. I can see them continuing this for the next few months. I think the North had a good run. They were a few not tags, but they were one of the few champions that this whole pandemic hasn't really suffered. They still were super competitive, even though they were gone for several months. And maybe it's because we just didn't have a lot of tag action in Impact for a while. And so this was actually a breath of fresh air to not only see them compete, but to see them against one of the best tag teams in Impact / TNA history. So I'm excited to see what continues of this. Maybe the North will win the tag championships again. It wouldn't surprise me. But I also think now that they're in the hunt, they're chasing, and there's always money in the chase. Even if you're the heels in this, there's money in the chase. And so now we get to see a different side of the North that we haven't seen in over a year. It's also refreshing to see them now as the chasers for the belts. So I am really happy with this decision, and it truly helps plant that this is a new chapter, a new era in Impact. And what better way off to finish this episode but with new tag champions?
Indeed. Now, two things before we kind of wrap this up, and we've been talking about it, and I'm still clueless to this. There was a person that they quickly featured halfway through the show, somebody with a mask with an M on it, with the red, white, and blue color scheme. Easily could say Kurt Angle, obviously not M, but obviously is an older wrestler, and I just have no clue who it is. So the one thing I can speculate on this is that more talent is still on the way, and that's good. And if they're going to continue to keep teasing like this, I mean, each and every week is going to feel more and more climactic until we get the Bound for Glory, and I think that's just good booking. But I'm very curious to know who that person is. We talked about it. I have no clue. I really have no clue. Does anything come to mind again now thinking about it?
No, it was right. So it kind of slipped through my memory until you brought it up again, and I had to watch it a few times because it was pretty quick. And really the only thing you did get to see was the face and the mask. And I joked, you could tell it's kind of an older face, the bags under the eyes. There's something in there, which you could tell. It was a little bit of an older face, which, if anything, adds more mystery because it means that it's probably a veteran, someone we've seen before, maybe being repackaged, coming back to Impact, or maybe this will be the first time. You know what? It's very, very hard to tell. Like, you really couldn't get a good sense of who this person was because they were covered up. Even in the glimpses of, their attire, it looked like they were wearing a jacket. Their head was covered. So you couldn't really see anything outside of their eyes and the mask. So you're absolutely right. I mean, the surprises did not end at Slammiversary, and I think Impact is realizing what they can do during this time to keep interest, and that's bringing in people, and not all at once. I think they also have done a great job of staggering all of these new signees or new people in the company. Some came early on, some just recently, and more to come, and I think that's going to keep people's attention. But I honestly do not know. I couldn't tell you who I think is underneath that mask.
Yeah, every time I just try to land on the name, I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe something comes out on social media or whatever once everything airs, but I don't know right now. But we can't talk about the closing moments of the show, and that is, again, Heath, no last name, as he sneaks in after Jimmy Jacobs leaves out the back door. So it looks like that's his whole gimmick. It's going to be him just trying to figure out his way to get into the locker rooms and just be the comedic act for right now. But we'll see. I mean, again, I think much like I said earlier, it's just going to be one of those type of days where us as fans, we're just going to be patient for just that long. Like, we just don't want the same person from there that didn't work to come here and try to do the same thing. So we'll see. We'll be patient. We'll have an eye on it. We're watching each and every week. So there's no doubt that we'll be tuned in. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I definitely going back to the beginning of the show, I thought it was a great way to start. I mean, that's how we ended Slammiversary. So to start the very first few minutes of this week's show with EC3, I really enjoyed that continuity because that was a cliffhanger from Slammiversary. So the fact that they first addressed that and the way that they built him later on into the show, I thought was very, very smart. I mean, just a lot of big things. You could tell absolutely from the beginning to the end that they are intentionally making a lot of changes and turning over a new leaf. Hopefully they continue with the things that have worked well, of course, like with the Knockouts division, a lot of funny storytelling. Hopefully they can improve on things like maybe some of their vignettes. The tag division is something that looks like has a bright future ahead of itself. So being able to do what they do well, modify the things that needed some work, and you know what? I feel like they could be unstoppable. We are in a time in which, you know, wrestling fans are hungry for content, but for good content. And after this weekend, I feel like they are truly riding high on, you know, fans who are sleeping on them coming back, and also new fans joining in.
Indeed. And I got to say, because I can't believe I didn't say it today, Deonna Purrazzo looks amazing as champ. Her and Callie Ray, that's going to definitely be a banger whenever it happens. That backstage segment that we got between the two of them was well done. The Knockouts division is good. We didn't get to talk about it much tonight, but it's good. There's still a lot of momentum there. And I can't wait to see where that moves forward. I will also say that Gail Kim was in the intro video, wondering where she's going to make an appearance at and how. And Madison Rain back on commentary. Good for her. I love her talking about her experience within the match and so on. So, you know, very good. But I also would like to hopefully we get to see her back in the ring. But we'll see. We'll definitely have to see. But, you know, we're here each and every week. We're covering Impact. Everybody that watches and supports us, thank you so much. Let us know in the comments what you think, what you're most excited for. Who do you think that person is, unless it comes out after we record this or not? And as always, we'll be back next week. Miranda, anything else?
No, yeah, let us know what you think about this week's episode, what you think is happening in the future. I definitely am interested in knowing everyone's thoughts.
Sounds good. And we're out, folks. So everybody have a good week, and we'll catch you all next week for our next review.